Alright guys, welcome back to Cast and Trek Outdoors. Today we've got a little bit of something different for you. What we're trying to do today is show you guys how to make some target stands for, let's say, turkey season. You're getting ready to pattern your shotgun and just make sure you're hitting exactly where you need to hit. Hunting season, you need to sight in your rifle, or any time of year that you want to do any sort of shooting activity, as that is part of outdoors life, and you can still have fun with doing that without having to specifically go hunting or anything. This is just going to be for paper targets, cardboard targets. You can just staple on the wood. You can also put hooks on there, and you can hang depending on the very width or size of these. You can put steel targets on them to help you shoot steel. All that to say, I'm doing this to help you guys get out there and not spend so much money, because you always go to stores and you see all these target stands, you see all this stuff. It just costs so much money. This is the cheap alternative I have found to be able to go out shooting. I'm trying to do this on the cheap, so I don't have very good lumber. What I did was I went to work and I salvaged some pallets. So what you will need for this job, there's two options. You can go as far as fasteners. I am going with an impact driver as opposed to a hammer, although you can use a hammer. I was using the hammer. You can use a hammer and nails. I prefer hammer and screws. I'm using wood screws. The other nice part about these is depending on what style you like, I prefer Torx. If you don't have Torx headed adapters like come in these kits, a lot of these wood screws come with the adapters, or the actual drivers end up that you can put into your driver or into your drill. So that's cool. Got a few different sizes, because we're doing a few different size stands today. We're going to be doing some made out of 2x4, some made out of 1x4. So you either need a tape measure or a straight edge. I got a straight edge because, in my opinion, it's a little bit easier to use as long as you're not going over 5 foot, which I'm not going over 5 foot today, so I used a straight edge. Then there's a square to be able to mark that out, Sharpie to be able to obviously make your marks on the wood where you want to cut, something to cut the wood with. I have a circular saw. You can use a handsaw. I have one of those as well, but I'm lazy, which is why I am not using a hammer, and I am using a drill, and I'm using a skill saw. Some sort of clamp will also be good, but other than that, that is all the stuff you need. I'm not good at woodworking, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Someone on here might know how to do it better. I'm just trying to show a cheap way to go about doing this, and to be able to sight in your rifles or just have some fun outside. I have already marked some lumber I want to cut for you, so I am going to go ahead and start cutting, and then we'll just go through this process. If I don't talk a lot, that's because I'm focusing, because like I said, this isn't fishing. This isn't hunting. Not particularly good at it, but I think it's important to show how to do many things. So let's get into it. Let's get working. And yeah, stick with it. Stay tuned. And then we'll start cutting the smaller boards here. So I'm just going to clamp and saw. And this shouldn't take too long. It's meant to be easy, maybe a little fun. So you're going to need to have the uprights, you're going to need to have crossbars, and then the feet that hold it up together. So these should be the 24-inch stand pieces to actually hold it up. We will swap this around. first two pieces cut. Again, these aren't going to be the prettiest pieces of wood, or looking pieces of wood, because they are going to be salvaged off pallets. They should be the cross sections, I believe. So the cross sections are 22 inches. The ceiling part will actually hold it from falling over. I have those at 24 inches, and the uprights are 4 foot. Okay, so as far as this one, we got pretty much everything we need now to start building the 1x4 stand here. So what I'm gonna do first is just verify length. So I got 222s, 224s, and then I'll try to lay everything flat here to get this so I can start putting the cross pieces on the uprights. So, like I said, I'm not a professional carpenter, so we're going to do this the eyeball way, not the perfect way, which I would like to say my eyeballs. A lot of times my eye levels are pretty good, but not always. Also, you got to think when you're dealing with salvage wood like this, it can warp. A lot of these boards have warped just because they were heat treated, but they weren't like professional grade lumber. With these boards being from pallets, you want to make sure you get like heat treated boards, which I will show you. I will get a picture of that insignia to show you what a heat treated board looks like, because that way it's got no harmful chemicals that will hurt you or anyone else. Nice and safe for us. We use 2-size screws because these are some remnant screws. I had to get some 3-inch screws for the 2x4 build. These two are remnant, so to get through all 3 boards, these will pull themselves down into the wood pretty easily. You're going to need at least probably a 1 3/4, with these wheat boards being 4x1s technically, and that'll make them sit flush up top. But these are going to go down a little bit, pull them together. So what I'm probably going to do is I've got 1x1/2 and 1x1/4. I'm going to stagger these, keep track of where they're at, so that way I can stagger in the opposite direction on the other side. But to pull through all 3 boards together, but also just pull the 2 boards together. So just kind of making do with what we got. It's not perfect, but again, I already had the screws, so that makes it more cost effective. Obviously I built the other one, I didn't have this much problem starting a screw, but do anything on camera. So we're trying not to, see if you can see it better, trying not to split the boards essentially. These are already a little bit split there. However, I'm trying not to split the board. So I'm going to try to go slower. You're still probably going to split some board. Like I said, these boards they're salvaged. They're not perfect. So we got those 2 in. Now I'm going to switch to the 1 1/4. I'm just using premium deck screws. They're probably a little bit more expensive if you want to do this cheaper. I think this 3-inch one, 10x3 inch, this ran me at the store, it was like $15, $16. So not the most cheap, but you can get panels cheaper, but this is also easier than trying to hammer stuff in my opinion. But I also understand that not everyone has drill or an impact driver. So just use whatever works best for you. So put those together. We'll turn it over, do the same thing, but stagger them. So I know those two long ones are here and here. So I'm gonna have the long one be on the bottom and the top on the inside. I split that one pretty good. Oops. Good news though is once you put it all together, it holds itself together. You can use wood between the two. I'm just trying to keep this stupid simple. To just do that. Uprights are pretty straight, so we'll start screwing that in. Other side. Today, my old house, my random project. Now we just got to put the crosses on so it'll stand up on its own. And we'll be done. I'm just doing this to try to inspire you guys to step outside your comfort zone, save a little money, and have more fun outside. I'm not planning on doing Carpenter videos more often than this. Unless it's something cool like this. I actually think it's useful. Alright. First one, done. Let's start cutting wood. Caffeine. I guess you are going to watch me measure a board. I get my marker here, mark there. I go up here to 22, mark there, slide down, find 11, put it in the middle, roughly. You can judge me later on whether or not that's actually the middle. But again, it doesn't need to be perfect. So then, straight edge. Or square. Or triangle, as my son says. He's 3. It's good. He's learning his shapes. What's really confusing for him is when I call it a square. So, no, Dad, triangle. Well, you're not wrong. I don't have a clamp that's big enough, which is why we're doing this the less professional way. But so basically, I know I'm going to have a 2x4 going in here. I'm going to have a support 2x4 here, which I'm just going to use these. I might lob off a little bit just to make them look pretty. But overall, this board's going to come up longer. This is your middle crossbar section. So I'm going to screw into there. And then the reason why I like Torx head, which I don't know if you guys can see it there, it's if you get an actual Torx, it's a lot harder to strip than a Phillips. That's why I prefer it. I feel like I just need to keep giving this disclaimer. I am not Carpenter. Oh, it's going in there. Look at that. Bring it in. Just a little bit and then hammer. is. There we go. It ain't perfect, but it'll do. Use a handsaw. That'll look better. It's worth it. It's worth it. I'm fat. It's okay. So yes, you can also use a handsaw. I hate them so much. But it's good that. Okay. Last piece. Let's get this guy fitted in there. Attempt to. It's a little tight on this side. I might have to do some cuts just to it in there. But this spot. Yep. Just like that. There we go. And ta-da! So there's the other one behind us. There's this one, a little bit stronger. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more content like this, let me know down in the comments down below. If you've got some better advice for people trying to do something like this or trying to do something similar to this, please put that knowledge in the comments down below. Just trying to learn here. That's the whole point. Build this community, learn together, get better together, grow together. See you next time. Thanks, guys.